This is Simplified Mathematics, and today we will be looking at percent. First, let's try to understand the concept of percent. Let's say we have 100 little boxes here, and we paint 5 of them in orange color. We can say that out of 100 boxes, 5 boxes are shaded orange. Or we can say 5% of all the boxes are shaded orange. Now we paint 10 of them. We can say out of 100 boxes, 10 boxes are shaded orange. Or we can say 10% of all the boxes are shaded orange. How about painting 50 of them? Now we can say out of 100 boxes, 50 boxes are shaded orange. Or 50% of all the boxes are shaded orange. So, percent is just another way to tell us the number of things that we have out of the whole 100 things. Now let's try to take a look at the meaning of the word percent. Percent can be separated into two parts, per and cent. Per means divided by, and cent means 100, like in the word century, which has 100 years, or a dollar which has 100 cents. So percent means divided by 100. And this is the symbol of percent. Now that we know the concept, the basic meaning, and the symbol of percent, let's take a look at some math. First, we will try to convert percent into a number. Remember that when we see percent, it means divided by 100. Let's try 10%. 10% means 10 divided by 100. And that will give us 0.1. When it's in this form, we call it fraction. And when it's in this form, we call it decimal. So now we know how to convert percent into fraction and decimal. Let's try the next one. 38%. 38% means 38 divided by 100. And that will give us 0.38. Alright, how about 200%? 200% means 200 divided by 100. And that will give us 2. Alright, getting a little bit more complicated here. How about 82.35%? 82.35% means 82.35 divided by 100. And that will give us 0.8235. Now we're starting to see the trend here. When we see the word or the symbol percent, it means divided by 100. Now we will try to relate percent with some terms that we might be familiar with. For example, 10% actually mean 1/10. Let's take a look why. 10% means 10 divided by 100. And if we simplify it by crossing out the zeros here and there, we will get 1/10 or 1/10. So 10% is 1/10. 25% is a quarter. Let's see why. So 25% is 25 divided by 100. And we can simplify this by dividing the top part with 25 and we're going to get 1. And divided the bottom part with 25, we're going to get 4. So we're going to have 1/4 or a quarter. So 25% is a quarter. And 50% is half. 50% means 50 divided by 100. And we can simplify this by divide the top part with 50. We're going to get 1. And divide the bottom part with 52. And we're going to get 2. So we're going to be left with 1 over 2, or half. So 50% is half. 200% is twice or 2 times. 200% is 200 divided by 100. So we can simplify by crossing out the zeros, and we'll be left with 2. So 200% means 2 times or twice. How about 350%? 350% means 350 divided by 100. And we can cross out the zeros here, and we'll be left with 3.5 or 3.5. So 350% means 3.5 times. Now we will be looking at percent off. Let's start with 10% of 80. 10% means 10 divided by 100. Off means multiply, and 80 means 80. And we can simplify this by crossing out the zeros. And we'll be left with 8. How about 38% of 50? 38% means 38 divided by 100. Off means multiply. 50 means 50. We can simplify first by crossing out the zeros, and then 5 to 1 and 10 to 2. So we'll be left with 38 divided by 2, and it's going to be 19. Alright, how about 200% of 70? 200% means 200 divided by 100. Off means multiply. 70 means 70. And we can simplify this by crossing out the zeros. So we'll be left with 2 times 70, and it's gonna be 140. How about 350% of 60? 350% means 350 divided by 100. Off means times or multiply. 60 means 60. So we can simplify this by crossing out the zeros and another zeros. And we'll be left with 35 times 6, and it's gonna be 210. Now let's try 82.35% of 200. 82.35% means 82.35 divided by 100. Off means multiply. 200 means 200. So we can simplify this by crossing out the zeros, and we'll be left with 82.35 times 2, and that's gonna give us 164.70. Now let's talk a little more about percent off. When you have A percent of B, it's actually the same thing as B percent of A. Let's take a look. Let's try 50% of 100 and 100% of 50. 50% means 50 divided by 100. Off means multiply. 100 means 100. And we can simplify this. We will get 50 here. And how about 100% of 50? 100% means 100 divided by 100. Off means multiply. 50 means 50. And we can simplify this. And we'll be left with 50. So 50% of 100 is equal to 100% of 50. They are the same. How about 25% of 80 and 80% of 25? 25% of 80 means 25 divided by 100 multiply 80, and we can simplify this. This gonna be 1, this gonna be 4, so we be left with 80 divided by 4, and that's gonna give us 20. How about 80% of 25? 80% means 80 divided by 100. Of mean multiplies. 25 means 25. So we can simplify this too. That's gonna be 1 and that's gonna be 4. So 80 divided by 4 is 20 again. Alright, so 25% of 80 is actually the same as 80% of 25. Now we're gonna try to convert a number to percent. We can do that by multiply with 100. Let's say we have half, 1 over 2. So we can do that by multiply 1 over 2 with 100. And that's gonna give us 50%. Alright, let's try convert 6 over 30 to percent. Alright, so 6 over 30 times 100. And we can simplify that by crossing out the zeros. And 6 divided by 3 is gonna be 2. So we're gonna get 2 times 10, which is 20%. Now we're gonna try to convert 0.25 into percent. Again, we can just multiply that with 100. So it's 0.25 times 100. Since 100 has 2 zeros, we can move the decimal points to the right 2 times, and that will give us 25%. How about 0.143? We can do that too by multiplying with 100. So it is 0.143 multiply 100. And since we have 2 zeros here in 100, we can move the decimal point to the right twice. And we'll be left with 14.3%. So I hope we all got some idea how to deal with percent. To summarize, we cover the percent concept and meaning. And we also show that A% of B is actually equal to B% of A. We actually cover how to convert percent into a number. It can be a fraction or it can be a decimal. And we also did the other way around by converting a number to a percent. So those are the key concepts of percent. Practice a little bit more until you are comfortable with this, and you will see that this is actually not difficult at all.